Action.
I think we're live. Okay. Some of the things you have to know about a cooking appliance, a range, really has three jobs. And Whirlpool brand has done a great job of segregating the jobs of each burner. Now take a look at this. For surface cooking, each burner has a separate job to accomplish what needs to be done in cooking. Typically, every burner is rated at about 9,500 BTUs. That's the amount of heat it can give off. In a standard range, all burners can do 9,500 BTUs. That's pretty easy. The difference is to have one burner be able to have more heat to bring water to a boil, to boil pasta, to work with a wok, things like that. Of course, that burner will never simmer anything. Conversely, other burners will never bring a water to boil ever. It's designed to simmer. So if you think about simmering sauces or chili or maybe melting chocolate, if you're going to make something like that. So each burner has a different job. If you take a look at this, the right front burner is rated at 15,500 BTUs. It's designed to bring water to a boil. Likewise, left front burner at 17,000 BTUs. That's close to the same heat as like a $4,000 range that you can get, some of these fancy names. We're talking about a range here that starts at $799. So for $800, you can get $4,000 features, which are quite unbelievable. So anyway, simmer burner in the back right-hand corner. It's only rated at 5,000 BTUs, but remember, the job of this one is not how high the heat can get, but how delicate and how low the heat can get, down to 550 BTUs, which is wonderful for simmering for hours. So if you have that kind of thing, you're going to simmer, you're going to melt, cheese for a fondue, you're going to do a chili kind of a thing or sauce. Fabulous burner. So right rear, simmer, right front, high heat, left front, high heat, left rear, kind of standard heat at 9,500 BTUs. This happens to have a middle burner, if you want to, it's in between burners, 8,000 BTUs. This kind of just is an auxiliary burner, really not designed for anything particular, but you can use it for a small kettle if you want to. So that's surface cooking, which of course is used very, very often. The other two items are going to be in the oven cavity. Take a look at this. Let's talk about baking for a moment. If you take a look in the back, you'll see there's a fan back here. Now, without getting into the semantics involved, that fan blows hot air around inside the oven cavity so that the performance, the baking performance of this oven is supposed to be very, very consistent. Think about putting a couple of trays of chocolate chip cookies in here. In the old style ranges, halfway through the cooking process, you'd have to reverse the trays because the ones on top were hotter than the ones on the bottom. You didn't want them to be overdone. With a fan that circulates the hot everywhere, it's all about temperature management. It's all about having the heat consistent from top to bottom, left to right, and front to back. So you don't have to move the food around. You don't have to adjust for different temperatures inside the oven cavity. The fan keeps oven temperature consistent. That's a fabulous baking feature. It's not about saving time, even though it does save you about 20% of your time. It's not about saving energy, really, even though it does save about 20% of the energy. It's about having wonderful cooking results, baking results. So that's what a convected oven's all about. There are different versions of convection ovens, but this one does a very nice job. Once again, well under $1,000. Another point inside the oven. Now, once again, that was about baking.
Mark on one.
If you think about baking, the heat comes from below the food. So the food is someplace in the oven cavity, and the heat comes from below. That's called baking. When the heat comes from above, that's called broiling. This broiler does a great job in this Whirlpool product. And it's not about being any different than any other range, except that it can control temperature. Now take a look at this. In the control panel, you can see where you can bake, you can convection, have the fan work on, or you can broil. The problem with broilers is that they always start really, really hot. And broilers are designed to be 550 degrees. That's just too hot. Sometimes if you put a very thin cut of food or a delicate piece of, delicate any kind of food, even garlic bread if you want to. You put that in the broiler. The problem is that you turn on this extra high heat, the food is too delicate, and sometimes your garlic bread turns to ash and smokes and everything else. So instead of having those kinds of problems, or thin cuts of fish being too overdone, what Whirlpool has done is on their broil control, when you touch the broil control, it'll automatically go to 550 degrees. But you see the minus button here, you can reduce it in 5-degree increments as low as 300 degrees. So if you have a special thing that you cook, be it the thin cut of fish, or maybe it is that garlic bread, and it works at 410, you can set the exact temperature that you want at 410 degrees. So it goes from 550 automatically, which every gas range does, to a low of 300. 41 different temperatures that you can set your broiler for. Any other oven has 2 temperatures, high and low, 550 and 450, which is okay, it's fine. This gives a lot more flexibility. So in this whole package, because this really is a cooking tool, once again, surface cooking with burners that have specific jobs. In the oven, you have baking that's convected and fabulous temperature management, and then broiling at 41 different temperatures. All of that for about $800. That's Whirlpool gas range. They're doing a great job. What do you think?